Yes, big shocker, I know someone has an opinion on Pokemon Switch games, but I promise to not be a stinky, nostalgia-filled fan. Uh, I won't be that too much at least. So, Pokemon on Switch have something of a controversial quality to them, and I stopped expecting a lot out of it, to be honest. Now, I played the Alola games just before going to the Switch games because I actually didn't get to play them back then. And I love them, really love them. I know they had something of a reputation. I don't know if it's still the case back then. Yeah. I thought that, damn, if everyone said the Alola games kinda sucked, and I loved them, maybe it'll be the same for the Switch games. And I played the Pokemon Let's Go. I will defend Pokemon Let's Go. I know it's not people's favorite game, but I will say it makes sense for who it's made up for. And that person is not me. And if you are listening to a grown-ass person talking about Pokemon on the internet in your free time, that game is probably also not for you. It's made for people who actually take walks outside and interact with the outside world and sometimes think about Pokemon. While people like us interact with Pokemon a lot and sometimes think about the outside world. And easy jokes aside, Pokemon Let's Go is cute. It's made to convert people from Pokemon Go to the mainline games. It makes sense for what it is. Kinda sucked that it was the first and only Pokemon game for a while on the Switch, but I will defend that game. It makes sense for what it is. Now, Pokemon Sword and Shield! So, everyone talked at that game, and I'm not gonna lie, it was also the Dexit, as people like to call it. Alright, Let's Go technically came out before, but Let's Go was like a Kanto remake, so that made enough sense. But Sword and Shield is when that sunk in for me, not getting the National Dex anymore. First off, that was rough. That was very rough. And second off, the game is also rougher. It doesn't look pretty. It's okay, it runs pretty okay as far as I could tell. But it's a bit, there's nothing exactly shining in the story. The Dynamax gimmick is existing, I guess. I don't really like it. And when it comes to the character, I also don't find anything particularly interesting on that map. So Sword and Shield was just very meh, but it was aggressively meh in the way that not only was it just an average Pokemon game, on some counts, it was also lesser than the 3DS games and also other games that came before it. That kind of sucks, not gonna lie. What I want to say basically is, if you don't have the National Dex, so gameplay wise, you don't have the characters of the Alola games that I loved, you don't have the story from Black and White 1 that I loved, what do you have going for you? You don't even have like good post-game content. So technically, post-game content came in form of a DLC, and that was another pill that was hard to swallow, personally speaking. And I didn't really interact much with the DLC. Like, I started it after Scarlet and Violet's DLC, which I will talk about later, as is the point of the video, despite what this intro might lead you to believe. And it just didn't stick, honestly. Playing the game was hard enough, as is. Playing the DLC, I thought I would get more excited, and no. What's funny to me is that the next Switch game that I really liked, that being Legends Arceus, blows Sword and Shield out of the water for me, even though technically Legends Arceus is, I wouldn't say it's a disaster, that would be hyperbole, but I'm thinking it. I know I'm not allowed to say it because it's factually incorrect, but it felt like a technical disaster on some points. Graphically, it's rough. I don't like the fact that this is a closed open world, that you have to still go back to Jubilee Village. The turn system, I mean, I like the turn system, like, gameplay-wise, this game is peak, but I feel like the turn order preview thing didn't work, or didn't work correctly. I know some moves change your action speed, etc., but it never makes clear what action you take, like how you would change the action speed. Sometimes it just feels inaccurate. And I don't know, Final Fantasy X had this covered in like... Oh my god, how old is Final Fantasy X actually? Never mind. Gameplay-wise though, Legend Arceus fucks. I really like the battle system it has, and I like the catching system even more. Legends Arceus is the game on which I've caught the more Pokemon, bar none. And the story structure was very new. Like, the Alola games kind of experimented with the story structure, but Legends Arceus did an actual story. What the fuck? And then came Scarlet and Violet. After like a 2-year pause, Yeah, I didn't feel like playing Scarlet Violet on release because I didn't feel attracted to it. Like, I'm not playing Pokemon games out of obligation. It just looked like I wouldn't enjoy the game, so I didn't buy the game. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm doing my running through every Pokemon region thing. I gotta at least give the game a try. Worst case scenario, I'm just gonna go sell it afterward. And I actually like the game. Now, let me preface this. This game is flawed. This game is flawed as fuck. On the technical side, this game is begging to be shot. I was hesitant to say that the game was technically wrong for Legends Arceus. I have no hesitation to say it was Scarlet and Violet. I didn't have to do any weird inputs, get into any weird situation for the game to break on me. And I've got a friend who also showed me their gameplay experience. I was like, wow, that's even worse. And that friend played it day one, so, you know, less patches, etc. And also, the Switch just can't handle the game sometimes, and it's not exactly a pretty game, but the frame rate will die, and what kills me that the frame rate will sometimes die in scripted sequence. Like, if it dies during quote-unquote normal free gameplay, I mean, that's bad, but maybe there was too many Pokemon that spawned, maybe you somehow got into that situation where the game lagged. Even if the game allows you to do it, you should be able to do it at the normal frame rate. But no, like, I remember one of the gym trials, the fucking Sunflower, I think it's the name of the Pokemon in English. The Switch was on its knees, and that's not okay. It's a gym trial. Every player is gonna see that. I don't get it. But Scarlet and Violet did two things that I really liked. First off is the story structure. Now, this is not perfect, but I do like how they basically made three story routes that converge into one. I thought that was nice. It's basically like Victory Road, gym battles, the classic Pokemon stuff. Then you've got the Team Star, so Evil Team, also classic Pokemon stuff. And you've got the third plot point with Arven and his little doggy that I really liked. I don't know if there's a direct equivalent in classic Pokemon games, I don't think so. But yeah, you basically have one partner character for all of these stories, and you get to progress that story whenever you want, and you get to know that character more. That said, that whenever you want part is kinda scuffed because this game does not have level scaling, so even though there is no official order, there is kind of an order to do things. Otherwise, the game breaks under its own weight because you either go to stuff that you can't challenge at all, or if you go there and do the stuff like that's mildly challenging, which feels good, like let's say 2 or 3 gyms in advance, then you have to do the gyms you skipped on again, and they don't scale, and you just stomp them. I don't know. I feel it's weird, and it's especially weird because I made another video about this. I wish you could import Pokemon and have the level scale down in your destination game. And I know they can do this because they do this for movesets. They manage to handle movesets uniquely per game with Pokemon Home, and they don't do that for levels, and that makes me feel insane. Anyway, that last story arc also, I don't know if I should like spoilers. Oh, I'm trying to stay vague then. That last story arc makes every one of them converge and involves all the characters you met, and I really like that. And that last story arc has a twist that I did not see coming. So, hooray! Hooray for Pokemon Story actually being able to surprise people. This is rare. This is very rare. And the second thing that you can guess I really loved about Scarlet and Violet was the characters themselves. Now, I'd say the story has its good moments, but overall, it's still somewhat in the expected field, except the last story arc. The characters, I find myself being surprised how much I really like them. Especially the characters that you go on the story routes with. For the base game, people describe Nemona to me as being Goku. And I was like, oh, the funny, I'm a Dragon Ball person, they're saying this to appeal to me. Okay, but she straight up is Goku. And she's really nice and funny, and I like that for a rival. I know nice rivals can be something of a topic in this community. But I think being nice doesn't make it a good or bad rival. It depends on what else they've got going on for them. Nemona just has this undying hype and maybe battle autism, if we were to be a little mean. I really love. One of the interactions I remember is that, like, at some point she's in a gym that you go to, and she looks at you and she's like, "Oh fuck, I have my gym team, I don't have my battling my rival team, I'm so sorry," and she runs away screaming. And I thought it was the funniest thing to me. I love Nemona. Evan was also nice to have around. He's a bit of a parental issues kind of guy, but I can't blame him. And his story is a little touching, honestly. It's simple, but it's touching. You don't need to make more, but it got to me. Penny's story is a little bit, I don't want to say bad, but you won't catch me saying good neither. I didn't feel that much of a connection to it, but seeing Penny interact with other characters is the fun part to me. I really like that vibe. And then, you get the DLC. And I really like the DLC, both of them for Scarlet and Violet. I wish we didn't get to, like, make an enemy out of Kieran, but that's how the story goes. But I really like him, and I find myself being surprised of really liking Carmine, and that's a bit funny to me, because generally I don't like that kind of characters. But she's such a funny kind of hater. Like, she is just extremely funny. And I know she's a little abusive at first, and that's not nice. But afterwards, when she comes down a little, she's just... I don't know, she's just fun to have around. I like her. She's my favorite toxic girl from the Pokemon franchise. And Ogerpon is very cute. What do you want from me? That's all I can tell you. Generally speaking, I also like the structure of the DLCs. Especially the second one. I think the second one is really nice, the BB Academy. I will say, though, they are too short. Especially the first one. They felt way too short. And considering the price tag, I'm not sure how I can condone this. I'm really not sure. But yeah, Scarlet and Violet, technical dogshit game, but it's still enjoyable in its ways. Very enjoyable in its ways, and I hope that Legends ZA will... I mean, it will probably provide a way better technical game. Like, just taking Pokemon and turning it into an action RPG is just miles above just regular old classic Pokemon game. And the Legends series kind of approached this. This is a game with Pokemon. Another Pokemon game territory that I really liked, that I really wanted this series to approach. And yeah, I hope that they do keep the same emphasis on characters as Scarlet Violet. I feel like character-centered stories work good in Pokemon, because generally the story structure is the same. So it's very codified, you can't exactly get outside the tropes very much. But when the characters are strong, that's when the story shines way more. That's when they get a little bit more liberty. And that's how I feel towards the Alola games, for example. I really like Legion and Lily, and especially Lily. I think her character arc is like one of my favorite in the franchise. No, it's my favorite in the franchise. In the original games. I'm looking at you, Ultra. That scene where she stands up to her mom, like she affirmed herself against her narcissist of a mother, really stood up to me and was like, wow, this feels good. This feels nice to watch. Like, it actually felt compelling and a good character arc and real in a way. And honestly kind of motivating because of personal reasons. Like, I was proud of her, you know, for her growth. I don't know if Pokemon games make me feel that way. So, yeah, Scarlet Violet Defender, I get them now. And that's progress. That's character development for me.